going on tonight. It's something that I want to share with y'all. Maybe a little bit of story time incorporated with something that's, hidden within me. So I remember watching as a kid, whenever someone was injured, was rushed to the hospital, and I would watch this on TV. I must have been maybe 9, 10, 11, something like that. That whenever someone was injured or hurt or in the hospital, before I went to bed, I used to always, not always, because at times I just fall asleep, but I'd be compelled within me to want to reach out to heal them. What I used to do is, when I was a little youngin', I used to visualize being at the hospital. This one particular girl who was in the fires, and they said she was burnt up. That started it. And I used to visualize in my mind's eye when I was a kid, before I go to sleep, I would close my eyes. I would used to pray, and then I would close my eyes, and I used to visualize being at the bed of the people, or persons, kids, whoever, healing them. Now, I did this often at times when I used to go to sleep. At times I used to fall asleep or forget to do that particular type of activity. It didn't really dawn on me that I had this healing ability when the queen that I'm with now had went to the doctor. And this happens with a lot of women. When you have children, you can develop fibroids in your uterus that it will cause you to either have it removed, or other utilization that they used to use to allow women to keep it. But in her case, fibroids, and they was talking about removing her uterus. So whenever I used to put my arms around her, at night, I used to channel healing. Now, mind you, she was told this maybe, let's say, a week ago. And ever since then, when I found out that ever since then, I used to place my hand on the solar plexus whenever I used to go to sleep and channel healing through her body. I didn't doubt it. I knew it, I believed it, and I continued to do it. Channeled that healing from my third eye, from my solar plex, and vibrated my energy through her body and to her body. And I continued to do that. And when she finally went to the doctor to find out what it is that they want to do, and find out, she get there and they say she didn't have any fibroids, they gone. And it saved her uterus. Now, a lot of us have these healing abilities, a lot more. It's just a lot of us haven't tapped into it. They say once you have your eye open, there's a lot of things that could come with having an awakened third eye. But it's more than just having an awakened third eye. It requires you to have to put in some work. And I guess I knew back then, right? Because when I was in Fox Lake minimum work release, right? Which is a minimum. I believe I had talked about that in my previous videos when I was telling you about being given the name Amir. And how when I was at Fox Lake minimum, not Fox Lake medium, Fox Lake minimum, how they used to call me Amir. And that I used to win the battle of the bands. Outside of the medium, it's the minimum. And in the minimum, people allowed to go to work. So one time we was walking around the track, and as we was walking around the track, I seen a little bitty, look like a baby squirrel. I don't know what they squirrel, mice, rat, whatever that little small little baby little thing was on the track when you go around there like that. And we know we had nothing like that in our area, in our bunk, in our living quarters, nothing. And the little bitty thing had ants and stuff on it, and it was in the water. It was a little, watery out. Man, I picked that little squirrel, chipmunk, could be a chipmunk, whatever. It looked like it could have been a chipmunk. Picked it up, and it looked like it was dying or dead or dying, I should say. So I held it in my hand, and I was not trying to let this little thing die, regardless to the gangster in me. Yeah, man, I put that little thing in my pocket. I don't even think nobody's with me then. It was just me walking around the track, and I put it in my little pocket. You know, we had a little green little penitentiary. No, we had the tan ones. We had the tan khaki pants, you did, and put it in my pocket, held it, and as I was walking around the track, I was fusing healing energy from my hand into this little squirrel, chipmunk, mice, rat, whatever baby it was. When I finally got up in the dorm, it was time for us to come in, because you got to come in a set time when you out there playing. You on the track in the minimum. So went in. And I got popped out. I went to the hole. If they did cell search. Man, I had that little thing in my little bowl. Had a little thing in my bowl, and I told my little comrade about it, and he was telling me, you know what I mean, what we needed to do to try to feed it. Then we gave it some lettuce, some bread, or something like that. But the only thing that thing really wanted was a little bit of love and affection. And I will hold it, and I'll do the same thing, channeling the healing through it. Give it milk and all that other stuff, and kept it warm. We had to lay down and go to sleep, at some point. I check on it periodically. The next morning, woke up, and that little thing was moving around and everything. Man, we had to hurry and get rid of that. I was just happy that it was alive. So, having this ability within me, the same abilities within you. When you have gifts and ability that's meant for you to help mankind, you use it. You don't abuse it. Because a lot of us have been given gifts, and that we can cut our throat on our gifts because a lot of us don't want them, and sometimes we are asked to have them taken. My ex-wife, at the time, she's a healer. She had gifts and abilities, as well as my daughter has gifts and abilities, and she has that same type of healing qualities, as well as very intuitive. I ain't gonna say which one. So whenever we should go to sleep or she gets sick, she's always reach over, grab my hand, and put it on her stomach, and it used to heal her. She used to feel a lot better, and she would feel healed. That was maybe 7 to 8 years ago, maybe less than. So yeah, I just want to share that with y'all, because it's important that we living in a world that abilities, gifts, talents, super kids, Blu-rays, as y'all want to call them, I'm going to say just the golden age. That it's time for the golden age to be awakened to our gifts and our abilities. Stay tuned more on our mythology, because I have some things I want to reveal to you that the ancient ones brought to my attention. That when you read the story about the biblical story of Jesus regarding the 5 loaves and 2 fishes that I told you about, it has its signs incorporated in it. I'm gonna walk y'all through it, because the ancient ones brought to my attention that you would see that the signs that I showed you, that it shows up top Virgo 6, and how the 6 lines up with the 1, shoots down 2, the Pisces, how they interconnect, that you're going to see that the sign for that chapter in that verse align and connect to this Virgo and this Pisces 1 to identify that it's pertaining to this chosen one. Chapter 6 verse 19. Let's get to it. So as we can see that chapter 6 verse 119 says, when they had rowed about 3 or 4 miles, they saw Jesus approaching the boat, walking on the water, and they were frightened. Now, it's a cold message hidden within this chapter and this verse. You see? Because this chapter and this verse is encoded as explained to you in the constellation of Virgo and Pisces. Let's read the other one. So when they had rowed about 5 and 20 or 30 furlongs, they see Jesus. Now mind you, 5 is E in the alphabet. 5 is the 5th letter in the alphabet. Let's keep that in mind. And 20, because 2 is B in the alphabet. 2 is B. And the 0 is not identified as a number that we can equate to anything in the alphabet. So we know we have together, we have E and B, which reverse to say B. All right? Or 30 furlongs, as if to identify this saying to be 30. You see the code involved in it, because 30 is also saying.
Notice it says 34 with the 30 next to the FOIA that says 434.
C, because 3 is the 3rd letter in the alphabet that one must be able to see or identify with a age. But if we use a numerology, which we always have to use these codes, signs that we know to interpret things, we utilize what we know. 5 plus 20 is what? 25. And 2 plus 5 is the holy 7. 7 is a sacred number. God rested on the 7th day. As it says also that on the 6th day he stopped the work and rested on the 7th day, because 6 and 7 makes 13, because the door stopped at 6 entering the 7th. 6 and 7 gives you 13. So 7 being a holy resident. See? So 5 and 2 give you 7, and 30 is really 3. Remember I told you about the EL? 7 flips to be AL, right? 3 flips to be AE, which gives you EL, okay? Elohim. They see Jesus walking on the sea. The code inside of walking, you have king, K-I-N-G, next to the on. And on is the Egyptian sun word that represents the Ra, the sun sign. Some say Re, some say Ra. This is the sun rising over in the sea. When the sun rises in the east, that is showing a sun, a light. The sun rises in the east. This is a lot of my Muslim brethrens. When they pray to the east, where the sun rises in the east. This is how you have the sun setting and rising over the sea. See? Walking. Walk, W-A-L, and king, K-I-N-G, on the sea. To identify, you know, you seen the movie Aquaman, the king rising out of the sea, rising out of the abyss, the king on the sea. Identify with the sun rising from the sea. Rising C represents water, represents people. And they drawing nigh unto the ship, and they were afraid. And we see that 619. 6 in the zodiac sign identify with Virgo. The connections to 6 to 9 gives you the 1 in the middle, as I have shown you. Now, you'll also note that 619 also speaks about this healing ability of this chosen one in Luke 6:19. Those troubled by impure spirits were cured, verse 19. And the people all tried to touch him because power was coming from him and healing them all. That's 619. 6 being the zodiac sign of Virgo. The 1 is whom they're referring to, and the 9 represents the Pisces sign, 619. Okay? Now, this is important because you will see a message, a hidden message in John 6:9. Now, mind you, John 6:9 is really 6 is Virgo, which is the Virgo sign. I have to reiterate so that you understand. 6 is the Virgo sign in the zodiac, the 12 zodiac signs. 6 is up top, Pisces is down below. Now, mind you, verse 9 it says, there is a lad here which have 5 barley loaves and 2 small fishes. But what are they among so many? Listen, this is important. This is very important. Because if you understand, there is a lad here. It's cold. Remember I told you that when you say walking and it has king on it, and on, identify with the Egyptian word for the sun god Ra. This is how you get the word Solomon. It's threefold. 3 deities of the name for the sun god, because the name Solomon is really identified within the code in itself of a sun. You see? Now, the word a lad is a actual word in itself, from right to left. You see? A lad here. A lad, let's go to what the meaning of what that word A connected to LAD, what that means. Let's go there. Here we are. Now, the etymology of this word, hyphenation of a lad, a pen, a enclosed area used to contain domestic animals, especially a sheep or cattle. Now, mind you, what it state in the book, y'all call the Bible, that Jesus says, I came except for the lost sheep of the tribe of who? Israel. You want to say Judah, Israel. So that identify with one coming for one's people. But at the same time, if you understand that a pen is also code for the pineal. A pen is identified with P, protons, electrons, and neutrons. This is the meaning of the word a lad. This is how you get the word Aladdin. This boy riding on a carpet who was connected to a genie. A lad, Aladdin. A pen, an enclosed area used to contain domestic animals, especially sheep or cattle. Isn't that where a lot of people who get incarcerated is sent to the penitentiary? The word a pen is also one having an awakened PEN, protons, electrons, neutrons. What is a shepherd called? Y'all call Jesus the shepherd. But what is a shepherd? A shepherd is a one who pretty much watches the sheep. But in actuality, a shepherd really shepherds the sheep in preparation to be slaughtered. Because the sheep are used for clothing and the sheep are used for food. But the shepherd is to protect the sheep for slaughter. The sheep fur, its fabric, its clothing, and intestines, and its food source. But let's look that the word a pen is also. Now let's look. Pen is slang for what? Slang for penitentiary, state pen. He served 9 years in the state pen. Okay? Now, you will also understand that the word pen, let me show you. A small enclosure for animals. Ain't that what they call people incarcerated and locked up? They're animals. They need to be taken out of society and locked up. Code word. A lad is code word. You have to understand that when you're dealing with beings from different planets, these beings is aware of future prophecies of what's to come. They encode these messages to be time released. Now, what does the pen symbolize? A pen pens can symbolize a number of big ideas: freedom, intelligence, creativity, professionalism, determination, diligence. As gifts, pens can symbolize the value you have for your gifts. You see? Now, remember I told you about the word a lad. You have the word a lad is also learned how to speak Anunnaki. This word a lad is also connected to one being Anunnaki, or the connection of that word of Anunnaki, meaning become to life. The Hebrew Jewish El is similar to the Arabic El. Alad, Alada, A, unless you're talking about Sumerian, and I'm not aware of how that's pronounced, whether it's Alada or Alada, also in Sumerian. So we know that the word a lad is also connected to Anunnaki. Okay? Now, the word alad, Arabic. From Arabic, it states, some say in here, is demon for aromatic. And then from Akkadian, it is a protective deity. A lad also means a protective deity. Here, what does the name Alad mean? According to the user from Child, the name Alad is of Arabic origin and means life force. A male, protective spirit. Now, to bring to existence that when you take the word a lad and you flip it backwards, remind you. In actuality, understand that when you look out the windows of your eyes, you're really seeing things in threefold. So you can't tell me that it is a form of witchcraft to turn words left from right when you think your brains is used, the right side of your brains is moved like an X, because the right hemisphere of your brain controls your left hand. The left side of your brain controls your right hand. So it's X'd out. You see? Outside of the 3 layers within your eye, this is how the brain sees. Upside down, your brain turns it right side out, right side up. So you have 3 patterns. Let's look at this word. So a lad spells backwards, say de-la, adala. When translated to English, means to bring into existence or to create. It also become a South African slang word for making a plan, getting it done, or doing it your way, which is very apt for what we do here at De-La or Dala. Okay? And what we encourage artists and creators to do also, which is a 2. So the word Dala, which is a lad spelled backwards, means to bring into existence. You can't tell me that you don't have coded words in the book to identify with someone. So John 6:9 says there is a lad here. Now, I just told you that a lad means one who was in a pen, one who is to get it done, one who is a protector. You see, one is of Anunnaki like origins it speaks of, and you will see, even as there is a lad here, you have in the word here, you have he and you have re. You see, which hath 5 barley loaves. Now, I didn't really break down to you, but I did in the explanation, in the descriptions, when I did regarding the 5 loaves and 2 fishes. But you will understand that there's also a code message in the word loaves, which represent bread. You know, Jesus being, as they say, the bread of life. When you look at the word loaves, L-O-A-V-E-S, remove the A from loaves and you have love. Loves, L-O-V-E-S. You see? A's love. So if you take the A and the S, it says as love. Or love as, which is the 2 letters of someone's name, but also as love. I couldn't see this, but the ancient ones made it possible for me to see the signs, because it was placed here from the gods, through the gods, in the gods, who speaks through me, to identify in the 2 fishes, to identify that this lad being the Christ type, that this lad is the Christ, or this chosen one. You see? And remember, I told you and showed you that the power of a lad is also A and L is 13. And there you go, on the end of a lad is AD. On the end of a lad is AD. That's 1 and 4, that 14 again. The initials of this chosen one as well. As well as the D and the A in a lad. And then on the end of loaves, that is the word for bread, has the 2 letters that you remove the A and the S that says love, and also the 2 letters of this chosen one's, letters of the chosen one last name, A-S. On the right it's A-S, and on the left it's D-A. As was also encoded to you when I showed you in the letters of the month. January, the letters, J in January, all the first letters of the 12 months encode to this chosen one's name. On the left of sun is what? On the right of sun is D. On the left of sun is A. So it's telling you and showing you from this divine beings, the netters, who speaks through us and teach us to identify of this 6, 9, and the one being in the middle, the hidden one in the middle. This message has been hidden from the gods through the gods.
That in the word there is a lad here is hidden messages. In the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 words, it is encoded message. In there you have next to the is re. The re is, and next to the is a. ISA is Isa. In Islam, Isa is known as Jesus. I like to say Emmanuel, which is the original name Emmanuel, but they're not talking about when they say Jesus in the Bible. It's cold talk because, as we know, there is no J in the Hebrew language. So why do we even say Jesus? Y'all say Yahshua. But what about the word Jew itself? If we know there's no J, why do we even use the word J and say the word Jew? There is a lad here. 5 words. In the word there is the re. Next to the re represents the sun. The sun as in S-O-N. S-U-N. As in the sun God. Okay? And next to it you have is a lad, which is ISA, which is Isa, as I explained to you. And then you have L, lad. Or you have L, and then the initials of this chosen one, L, as in the word, the Elohim, or Lucifer being the light bearer, because we're talking about a sun. And then AD identifies with the letters of the last name and first name of this lad. And then you have he being a sun god, he, and then read next to here. In here, you see, H-E and then R-E. Very powerful.